All right, guys, we're live. Guys, we're live. I can hear you now. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're live, guys. We're live. So for those just joining, feel free to share the link. If you're just joining, share the link. Share the link. If you're joining via YouTube, you can share the link on your Twitter or WhatsApp. Anyway, you can share the link. If you're joining via X, that's a former Twitter, you can quote the tweet or repost the tweet or copy the link and invite anyone you want to. Yeah, so nice to have you guys, GMGM. Also, feel free to leave comments about questions you want to ask. Let me put my device on silent. You can start dropping questions on the comment section. You can start doing that so we can attend to those questions as fast as possible. Yeah, GM, Space Star, GM. How are you seeing the markets today?
The market is looks good, to be honest. We are looking at odds. Maybe when it's time, I'll share my screen because we are looking at a few odds that are performing very well.
Yeah.
So it's actually really good, to see. There are some odds that I'm looking at that are performing, but I don't know why they are performing well. To be honest, I can't tell you. This is the reason why, there is no news. Probably it's just because of the market-wide trend, right? So
yeah.
maybe if you add, I'm actually sharing my screen now. Maybe you should add it up. Let me just quickly look at some of these tokens before we go forward.
Okay, better. Please feel free to leave your questions and GM everyone joining. Feel free to share depending on where you're watching from, if it's YouTube or X. Ensure to like, repost. You can quote, invite anyone you want to invite. You can also share the YouTube stream link. Anyone is fine, depending on where you're watching from. Questions can start coming in, please. Yeah, so we can see your screen now. We can see your screen.
All right. So can you hear me now? Yeah.
Loud and clear.
All right. So Sora has actually been one of those tokens that will be swinging very well. But as you can see that there is a little bit of resistance around this 5 million area, right? We've tested it a couple of times, right, with long spikes, but we haven't actually broken through it. So if we're able to do that, which I don't know whether we will do it this time around because we've tested it a couple of times, but once that happens, it's easy for us to see Sora up to around maybe 7 million or even above. Now, don't forget that Sora's beta is live, okay? So that would really, really facilitate Sora's pump because people are now buying Sora for the sole purpose of paying for Oracle services, okay? So it's always good to bear in mind that we've tested this 5 million resistance a couple of times, and Bitcoin is looking a little bit steady. So we might get, if we get that push above 5 million, we could probably be heading towards $10 million market cap for Sora easily. And to be honest, Sora at $10 million market cap seems very, very, very fair, So that's for Sora. We've seen it perform 41% within the last 24 hours, which is good. Now, if we go to up only, we've talked about up only. This is one I can't figure out why it's pumping. Now, you could see that up only is up 55%. Okay. Today, only within 24 hours, it's up 55%. Now, if you remember the NFT that was bought on Base, the one that the Coinbase CEO bought for $25 million, this is the token behind it. This is like the token created for the podcast, right? it might not necessarily be official, but when that news went out that the guy got 25 million for an NFT, you can see that the token pump. The token has been dormant for since like January this year. So, but then around October 20th to be precise, you saw the massive pump of this token. It did more than 20x, straight up pump, right? But now it dumped because of market and all that. So now it's around $1 million market cap, and it's up 58%. So I tried to know if the podcast they've started a new episode, any episode, but they've not. But I don't know why it's pumping, and you can see that the volume is really healthy, around 330k volume for this token. Now, would I advise someone to jump into this token? Well, you could, but with small money, right? Because it has the potential of pumping. Now, from the part I'm looking at it from, if there's an announcement from Kobe that, okay, they've gotten a new, maybe someone that would attend, a guest for the podcast, because they could bring any guest from the podcast. In the previous podcast, they brought a whole lot of industry people to the podcast, and it's a very fun, very chatty podcast. That was why people loved it, because it's a serious podcast, but at the same time it's an unserious podcast, right? So it's fun, right? So when that announcement goes out, this token would pump, like it would really pump. But I haven't figured out why it's moving now. Maybe there was an announcement that they said maybe towards the end of the year they might make an announcement about the podcast or who they are bringing in, and we're in December already. So this is up like 59% within the last 24 hours. Now, another token that went up, let me bring that up real quick.
Yeah, for those watching, please feel free, share the link, invite anyone you want to invite. You can repost if you're watching.
Basis for everyone. Now started moving, and I know. So here we can see basis for everyone. Now you can see that basis for everyone has done 34% today, right? And this is one of those tokens that not even earlier in the year, so months back, I told you guys I swing basis for everyone steady. Like it's the way we are swinging Sora now is the way I was swinging basis for everyone. But after the whole October crash, it went really low. I almost to its lowest. So now we are seeing like a 34% movement. Now we are facing a resistance here around 4.7 to $5.4 million market cap. So maybe this particular pump might get up to that point, and maybe we might retrace back, depending on how the market sentiment is. But generally, we are seeing good movement in terms of token prices, to be honest. So we're just hopeful that it's sustained, right? Bitcoin does not, do one of those massive corrections again, and then alts begin to struggle. But if we allow it, there's most alts are facing or would face minor resistance, like we showed on Sora, which is facing resistance around 5 million. So if Bitcoin maintains its price, Sora will most likely go above 5 million, like towards 6-7 million, if Bitcoin stays steady. But if there's one of those shakeouts again, one of those minor retraces, then Sora might still go back to around 3.5 or even $3 million market cap, okay, to try the $5 billion market cap again. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So for this coin, generally we are seeing good market sentiment. So hopefully that is sustained.
Oh, all right, that's amazing. That's really cool. For those that are just joining, please leave your questions. Let us know projects you want us to look at, and feel free to invite anyone you want to GMGM. So let's move to other stuffs in the market. I'll share my screen shortly. Let's look at the news and look at some projects that were accumulating, some that were waiting to break out, and some other of our trades. Let's do that briefly. All right. So hope my screen is actually visible right now. My screen is visible here.
No, it's not.
My screen is visible here.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so.
All right. Let me just share it again then. All right, please confirm it should be visible right now. For those watching, you can also comment if you actually see my screen. It should be visible now, right?
Yes, we can see it, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's visible, we can see it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so looking at the news, nothing specifically different is happening. But there's something that it's not here though, but there's an article I was going through from Glasgow, which what they are speculating based on their indicators, what they are actually speculating is that where the market is at where it was 2022 Q1. That's where the market is at. So they are actually calling and speculating that we'll see a BTC dump, because if you're around the crypto space 2022 Q1, January, February, BTC was around for something K then. And from then we saw different black swan events that led to the crash of BTC, including Terra Luna crash that we saw. But BTC nosedived from around for something 50K all the way down to about 15K that same year. And so that is what Glasgow or Glass, that is actually what they are speculating. In summary, they're saying the market is at where it was 2022 first quarter. So people should actually be careful. Yeah, but for me, I still strongly believe we are still in an upward momentum as long as BTC holds above 74K. We should see the market make higher highs. So let me share my screen for a trade that I'm anticipating to break out. This is actually a spot trade, by the way, that I'm anticipating to break out, after which some other projects were accumulating. So here on my screen, if you notice, we have Aura. We've spoken about this severally. We also spoke about it, I think, yesterday. If you notice, Aura has just been ranging, just like the daily candle, and it is yet to actually break out this daily chart. Now, I'm expecting this Aura to actually pick up momentum and go above 1.4. And these are like the levels that I'm actually paying attention to, where to face like some resistance. But I'm very, very optimistic that it's actually going to break out. If you haven't checked what Aura does, you can take your time and just go look at what they do. Yeah, but I know they are big on export protocol. They are very, very big on that, where agents communicate with each other and able to like exchange transactions and all those stuff with each other. They are very, very big on that. But personally, I'm just trading its price action. Another project which we have actually been talking about for a while, let me share that briefly. We've actually been very vocal about it. There's ARIO, which we witnessed a dump yesterday. Like there was a huge dump on ARIO.
Yeah, I dumped crazy. I don't even understand why that dump.
You can see my screen, right? Let me just put it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
I think StreamYard is actually lagging today. I don't know why. But can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. So ARIO experienced like a very, very crazy dump yesterday. And I had to check to make sure everything was still looking good. It dumped to, like, I saw it at 2.4 M. This is the FDV, mind you. Dumped all the way from 9 point something, the last place I saw it, and it crashed to about 2 point something. Talking about FDV. The actual market cap dumped about 1.3 or thereabouts, the actual market cap. So personally, like I said, for me, this is a long-term stuff. It's very, very long-term stuff. Even if 2 days ago I was able to swing out at 20 something million based on TP that I set, I was able to swing out at 20 something million, which for me that was over 300%, well over 300% from around 4 point something MTV that I got in. Yeah, so I got back in around 6 point something 7M. I got back in. Yeah, it's part of the profit, and I even bought more than I was holding before. But now it dumped to 2 point something yesterday. I had to just accumulate more when I checked. And I noticed that everything still seemed very good. There was no issues, no tech issues, no problems. It was just maybe, you can call it price manipulation or some people offloading, which there's also something I noticed that I stressed a few days ago, which was the liquidity on exchanges for the pair is actually increasing. And I'm sure that is coming from maybe people that farmed airdrop or some people that are staking it or something that sent to exchange and you're actually like selling off or so. So that was very, very normal. But for me, I actually tried to accumulate much more around 2.4, 2.5. I think the last place I bought was 2.8. Because another thing there is when you're buying is this. You would find out that there might not be so many people willing to sell that 2.5, 2.6. For example, if you go now and check at 3.8, you might not see orders. The closest orders you might be seeing might be 4.5 or 4.4 to buy. So most times I just set my buy limit and I just wait for people to fill it. So it's the same thing that happened yesterday. The highest price I bought was around 2.8 or thereabouts. And I refused to go above that. Even when it pumped back to 5, I had to wait for it to come down and fill those my orders. So the strategy with ARI is very simple. You see, it's been bearish all through. It's been really, really bearish. The strategy is straightforward. It's very simple. Accumulate as much as possible at these low prices. Like accumulate via DCA. That's why I always talk about DCA. You want to ensure you're buying at discounted prices. You don't want to buy the top. You really don't want to buy the top. Even at 7M, I wasn't buying everything. I was buying and leaving room in case it goes lower so that I could still accumulate more. So you want to accumulate at very low prices. Truthfully, if ARI goes to 1M, FDV by the way, not market cap FDV, because it's the FDV 3.7. If it goes to 1M FDV, I'll still accumulate more. Even if I see that 500K FDV, I'll still accumulate more. The only thing that'll make me not accumulate again is if I have actually hit the maximum amount of ARI I want to accumulate. So total supply is a billion tokens. That's like the max supply of this project. It's 1 billion tokens. That is it. 1 billion circulating supply right now is half of it, it's about 500 and something million. Now, my target can be to own 20 million ARI via DCA. That can be my target, which 20 million is like 2% of the total supply or the maximum supply. That's only about 2% of it. That can actually be my target. Now, I don't need to do that overnight, or I don't need to do that one day or 1 week. No. The best bet is for me to use DCA, and I don't need to go and use all of my monies right now available to accumulate it all at once. No, I can spread it out using some profits, some random money that comes, just via DCE. The cheaper it goes, the better for me, the faster I hit my target of 2%, which is 20 million ARI that I want to accumulate. You get that's just it. Now, once I hit that my target of, let's say, 2% hold, 20 million, I can choose not to buy again. Even if it goes lower, I can just choose not to buy again because I've actually hit my target. At the same time, my target can still be an amount I want to invest. Maybe I want to invest $5,000 into this project, but I'll buy at random prices and different dates. If I see lower prices, I'll buy. If I see much higher prices, I won't buy. But I know I will not share invest more than 5K in this project. That can still be my strategy. This is how the investment game works. And when you're investing long term, presumably long term, into an asset, you want to ensure that you're buying at lower prices, at discounted prices. And even when you're accumulating, you want to ensure that you're paying attention to the overall health of that particular project. You want to make sure that the team is still building, they are still innovating, it's still growing while you're pumping in money. And the money that investment can give you, most times trading can't give you that money. Most times, not all the time. Sometimes trading can, but most times trading can't, especially when you hit the right project. So if you look at them, like yesterday, I was going through the news. The Y Combinator they invested in, I think, is a Kalshi, the Poly Market, one of them, either Kalshi or Poly Market, that they invested $150,000 some years back when prediction market isn't or wasn't 18 yet as it is right now. And the value of that money they invested barely 5, 6 years ago or so, $150,000 today is worth $700 million. Now, here's the catch. If you were trading the futures market with $150,000 from 5, 6 years ago to today, I bet you, call the best futures trader, they will not turn that money to $700 million. Quote me anywhere, quote me any day, quote me anytime. Call the best futures trader. The chances of them turning that money to even $300 million trading the futures market is less than 0.1%. 0.1 is even too much. You would almost not see any futures trader that was able to turn $150,000 to over $300 million. I'm not even talking of 700 million, 300 million trading the futures market, because the futures market trading is also a game of probability. It's not just like gambling. And you will most often make losses. You most likely make losses. But the goal is overall for you to be in profit. So yes, that's 150K. Might have traded it to $10 million in 5, 6 years. Might have traded it to 20, 30. True, very, very possible, because you'll be looking for setups. You're not just jumping into every trade. You're looking for setups. You're targeting maybe 200% or 300 or 400% profit. Sometimes you might hit back-to-back losses. You make it all back plus profit in one trade, make 700% or so. That is how it is. Yeah, but in the investment game, you can invest. We've said this before in one of our lectures that we did, I think last year or thereabout, or 2 years ago. As an investor, when you're investing in companies, which is what we do when we are buying tokens, you get, and you're not doing it for short term, what you're doing is you're investing. As an investor, you're looking to get in when that project is extremely low in valuation, and you're buying into the future and dreams of that project. You're being able to project what this project could be, you get, in a few years, sometimes it'll be 6, 7, 8, even 10 years. You're able to do that, and you're targeting 100x, 500x, sometimes 1000x. Yeah, that is what you're targeting. So you do like random DCA, and you would always hear investment companies, investment managers, they will tell you clearly that the game of investing, you can invest in 20 different companies and 15 can fail. Like by standard, you're even supposed to be expecting like 15 would fail. You only need 5 to do well. Sometimes only 2. Out of those 20, you invested $1,000 in 20 companies, that's 20K. You only need like 2 to do like very well. And that would give you far more than the overall $20K you invested. That's how investing works. Sometimes it happens in 2 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes more. But literally, that is how investment works. And as you're investing, the issue with the crypto market is most times when people invest, they don't track those projects. They don't pay attention. They just randomly just throw the money around. They are not paying attention. So we are tracking Sora right now. Most persons, they wouldn't do that. They just throw the money and forget about the project. But you're supposed to be paying attention to the tokens in your portfolio, which are representing either companies or products or something. You're supposed to track them, follow up with them, see if they are at a cheaper price or better price for you to get in. Maybe first time you invested 2K, you see if it's not the price where with $500 you can get times 2 of what you got when you invested 2K. You get that way, you're bringing down your overall entry. Like the investment game in some ways is totally different from when you're just like trading, either short term or futures. It's a totally different ball game. So people need to understand and learn how to play investment right. Very, very important. So that's why personally I'm still accumulating this ARIO. Now, another project that I'm actually still accumulating, and we've been telling you guys since to accumulate, is Red. Red. This is a decentralized Oracle service provider. Red. This Red token. Red. We've traded this earlier this year. I think probably September. We traded this September, and where we made some very, very good profits from it. It pumped about $1 when it was listed on Bitstamp or Bitstamp, something like that. Pumped to $1, we made over 200%. On features, we made over 1,000%. Yeah, so we traded this Red. But aside that, if you're accumulating it, investing in it long term, that's the angle I'm talking about it from today. Via features trade is also fantastic and amazing to trade. Short term is also good. But long term is one of those projects that we are also accumulating long term. Red, this Red token. It's a very, very solid project. It's very good. And they have a product that actually works. They are actually offering Oracle services to multiple platforms currently, like multiple DeFi protocols are using their API to generate like feeds for different tokens that they have listed. So we're actually accumulating this. Another one is AR. After this, we're going to the chat based on time. Another is AR. You guys know we've spoken about AR several times. We're also accumulating AR long term. We're also accumulating this. AR is around 400 M, right? Oh, it's around to something. So AR is something we're still accumulating. Personally, AR is supposed to be, I'm expecting, let me not say it's supposed to be, I'm expecting AR to hit like 5 billion to get long term. I'm actually expecting that. ARIO, I'm expecting it to go well above 200 million long term. Red, I'm expecting Red to go above a billion long term also. Yeah, so there are still so many other projects, but because of time, we'll still look at a few more tomorrow since we'll be doing this tomorrow. So because of time, let's switch to the charts. Let's look at the charts basically and see some trades on the charts and also try to analyze what we're expecting and maybe find one or two trades too. So currently I'm on a BTC trade that I took for scalping this morning. I've exited and entered that trade like 2 times this morning, but it's for scalping. So this is the trade, this trade, I took it this morning. But before I go down to that trade, let's look at overall the BTC charts. What is it saying? What's going on? And what are we expecting, basically? So far so good. BTC is still facing like a very serious resistance. This zone is still facing a huge resistance at this 94K. Yes, we were able to slightly go above the 93K, but we have not entirely cleared this zone. Like we haven't cleared this zone entirely. And it's still good that we're seeing this consolidation here. It's good. It shows us the interest level for this zone here. We have the bears and the bulls struggling to see who is actually going to win. For now, there's nothing certain yet. Let me just switch to daily. Okay, good. For now, there's actually nothing certain yet. But you have to bear in mind that today is Thursday, tomorrow is going to be Friday. And as we always see, most times on Fridays, 6 out of 10 Fridays at least, you tend to see the market correct. We have dragged this position from Tuesday till today, Thursday, and we're approaching Friday. The bears are stronger on Fridays. It's like werewolf when they are getting full moon, when they see that full moon and they're able to like shift fully. So the bears are actually much stronger going into the weekend, like Friday. So you can expect anything to happen. So most persons need to be like very, very careful. If you're taking long trades, you want to be actually very careful. Let me just look at this on the daily. So here on the daily, we can see that there's a little fair value gap here on the daily chart. Obviously, we have here, but the closest one we do have is around here, which there is a huge tendency that the market would want to come down to actually feel that. But now this fair value gap isn't fully formed. Why? Because today's candle has not closed yet. So it's still possible that it can come down today to actually clear this and fill this. After which we have another one around this zone, which I won't be surprised if we still come down to actually fill this one, because if we correct to 90K, it's actually a very good correction. It's a very, very, very healthy correction. Let me just briefly mark this out. Just briefly. So if we correct to 90K, it's not a bad correction in any way. Let's see what it looks like on the 4 hours. Okay, good. So that's like this zone. So there wouldn't be anything wrong, like absolutely nothing wrong if BTC chooses to correct tomorrow to this zone to tap liquidity. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Should we come all the way down here, it won't be sustainable. It will just be like a long week that comes here and goes back up. I don't see a tendency of this happening. I'm not really leaning towards this happening, but I won't be surprised. I'm more expecting or expectant to see something like this where we correct to like just feel the fair value gap on the daily here. Yeah, that's what I'll be expecting. So if I see like long opportunities, I'll take it. Just like I said yesterday, I told you guys that I was expecting long opportunities. So I'm not shorting the chart. If BTC comes down, what I was expecting was for it to come down to this fair value gap here, which was what happened, and we actually filled it. That was actually what happened. We came down, and once we got down, they had to take a trade. Yes, and that was one of the fastest trade I've actually taken this week, or even this month. Yeah, this month is actually this week. It's actually one of the fastest trade because it happened in like 2 candles. That particular trade, like it was just so fast, like 2 15 minutes candle. Immediately got down to that zone. It took the trade before I could even go and say, let me check, screenshot, or do whatever. It had already got into like TP. Like it happened very, very fast, which is why sometimes it's good to just set the trade and leave it. Like it happened really, really, really fast. Immediately it went down and it tapped that zone. Immediately it went back up. It was very, very, very fast. But there was another opportunity for re-entry, but I didn't take that. While this is like a scalp trade that I took today, so I'll drop a video on the Sasonis channel where I would be able to explain most of the reasons why these trades are taken out, some strategies behind some of all these trades. A separate video will drop because that's not the aim of this live stream we do. But yeah, we'll drop a strategy. We'll drop a video on that explaining the strategy. So right now, do we have any setup on the chart? No, there's currently no setup on the chart right now. Like as it is, there's no setup on the chart until we see like a clear direction from BTC. There is no clear direction yet. Whatever is happening here is all scalping. Like whatever is happening here is just scalping. That's what's going on. So there's no clear direction for BTC. So if we're dropping any trade, it's going to be like a scalp trade. Now, another of the trades we're in is the CHR trade, which you dropped in the charts. We dropped that in the community. Now, if you notice each trade, it almost went to hit our SL, but we survived. It did not hit the SL. Now it went up and it's still playing around the end. Personally, I'm still in this trade. When it came all the way down, I had to like add more trades. I just added more positions to it. And when it went up, I closed some of those positions. But I'm still in the trade basically. I'm actually still in the CHR trade. We're expecting CHR to break out. Maybe a news or something make that possible. Right now, this resistance is getting weaker. The resistance that is facing it is getting weaker. But what you should bear in mind is if BTC chooses to dump, then that will be a problem, because then this trade will most likely fail. And like I said yesterday, let's assume it fails while we are not live streaming or when I'm not on sit. It will present an opportunity for us to get into a trade at this zone. Now, this is depending on if BTC just does a correction and not to like a crazy dump. So it's going to give us an opportunity to get into a trade around this zone. So that's what I'll be waiting for, what I'll be looking for. If this trade fails and it starts coming down, I'll be searching for like another long opportunity around this level, basically for CHR. Now, a project that actually did well, which whenever Ethereum is pumping, it's good for altcoins. It shows like a sign that altcoins will soon take off. So it's good when we see Ethereum moving. It's actually really nice when we see it moving. So if you notice Ethereum, we looked at this yesterday, where I told you guys that Ethereum is also facing a resistance here. I didn't trade this, funny enough. I didn't take any trade on Ethereum. But Ethereum broke through this resistance. We looked at it yesterday. The resistance was recent. So Ethereum has been able to break above its own resistance. Other coins are still, other alts rather, are still struggling. I'm expecting that they'll be able to break eventually. The only challenge now is because we're going into the weekend and BTC might just fumble because bears are stronger on Friday. So you want to keep an eye out for that. But Ethereum has broken out. This is good news for alts. So as long as Ethereum holds, most likely comes down to retest before it continues going up. Altcoins should start catching up any moment. Like altcoins should actually start catching up. And let me switch to questions and see if we can take some questions later today or tomorrow. We might drop some trades in the community. So let me switch to like see the questions we have. All right, so somebody is asking, please, what platform to buy ARIO? Gits.io. And they're listing on L Bank. I don't know if they have yet. It was supposed to be yesterday. I think they did. Or I tried it on Gits.io or on AO. So which other question here? GM to everyone, GM everyone. What platform do you buy ARI? Yeah, Gits.io. You can still buy it on the AO ecosystem, but that might be a bit technical. So L Bank or Gits.io. Please, which of either ARIO and Sora Oracle is better coin for investment long term? Sincerely, long term, I would say ARIO. What I do with Zora the most is swinging. Yes, I have some long-term bags for Zora, but what we do the most with Zora is swinging because of the volatile price action and the fact that it respects its support and resistance zones. It presents like a better opportunity to swing, trade it, and make money. That's just it. Yeah, but ARIU long term, Zora swing trade. Leave a moon bag for Zora actually for long term. Then no announcements on Chrome ecosystem, Eval, Colopo, update, etc. Eval bought 4 Penguin NFTs, 4 from their revenue. They bought about 4. Said it's for investment, for what they're planning to do in the future. Yeah, so they're actually still building, they are doing good stuff. The token It's performing well. Personally, I'm about 60 something percent up, almost 70 if not more than in profit on the eval, which I shared the trade here when I got in at 800k and 700k. I shared it here. Right now, it's almost at 1.3 m. So they are actually profiting. They are actually at profits. And Color, they've just listed eval token, so it shows that they are actually working. So I feel that that's actually good. It shows you that the chain is actually still improving and building and adding stuff. Meaning of fair value gap. This will be covered in the video breakdown video I'll drop, which will be posted on the Sasonis YouTube channel. And how to spot or measure a fair value gap. Okay, these questions will be discussed there basically. What about Benkat? Sincerely, I would say Benkat is dead. Like Benkat is so dead because one of the things that killed Benkat is the AO ecosystem. They are slow pace in building, development, and all of that. Even the delayed launch also affected Benkat because it was expected to be January, they moved to February, they moved further, and even when it launched, there were lots of lags. That's one of the major things that made me to stop swing trading on AO ecosystem because there were lots of lags, and at the point it became extremely annoying, like extremely. At certain points, you could not even trade. Yeah, you couldn't trade at all. That's one of the things that drastically reduced my interaction with the chain because for sometimes 2 weeks you are able to execute trades or do anything on PamaSwap or Bottega gets. So that was the issue. Yeah, so we've actually covered the bulk of the questions. Time is against us right now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Just before I leave, there's a particular trade we're still on. Let me share it briefly. That's the Gigo trade. We're still on Gigo. Although I'm running risk free on that trade because I've taken some profits. But overall, I'm still in the trade. So let me just share my screen briefly. Someone asked yesterday where they should get in, and I was able to tell the person, even if you get in at 95, somebody asked if, I don't know if it's a he or a she, if they can get in at 95. And I said, even if you get in at 95, it should be DCA. You should be looking for the price correcting to, like, in case it gets to 91, 92, don't get in completely at 95. So I think when this person was asking this yesterday, and Gigo was somewhere probably around $100 thereabout yesterday when the person was asking that. And eventually it came all the way down to the 95 and dropped still to about $92. Okay, so we are still on this trade. Overall, we're actually in profit. We're actually in profit. I know I added a little bit of positions again around this 92, 93. I added a bit more. Yeah, so the Gigo trade is actually still very open. I'm still in the trade, basically. It's just the price is just consolidating, and if you notice, it's not looking like it's not willing to go down unless BTC does some madness. But aside that, it's not willing to go down because you can see how it is rejecting this level and it's trying to hold this zone so that it can break and try to retest this before going up again. So the trade is still a good trade, but eyes on BTC. It's very important to keep your eyes on BTC because right now, even with the market looking very healthy, BTC still holds all of the cards. It's still at a very sensitive position, which it hasn't gone above. That position is very sensitive. If it's able to move past that position very fast, then you see altcoins respond to it really fast. If BTC is able to go past this position really fast, then you see altcoins go past their own support or rather their own resistance very fast. This swing trade that I'm in for scalping, this scalp trade, I'm still looking at it. Has done a 1 to 2 by the way, because it's a 1 to 3 trade, but it has actually hit 1 to 2. So I'm still watching just to see if it will hit the full TP, basically. All right, guys. So that's all that we're taking today, and see you guys same time tomorrow. Please ensure to join on time and ensure to drop your questions as early as possible so you can be able to take all the questions. Thanks, guys, and bye bye.
Bye, guys.